Between fire-red deserts and snow-capped peaks, Utah is one of the last places where wild mustangs still run free. Utah is a land where time feels etched into stone, into mountains, into wind-dried valleys. A place that pulses with an ancient, untamed force, as if it were guarding the last whispers of wild freedom across its deserts and forests. Here, the horizon feels as wide as the pioneer spirit, and the sky, often burning red at sunset, looks like a painter who never held back on color. Landscapes like Utah don't just amaze you, they challenge you. The Moab Desert, with red formations carved over millennia, the towering spires of Zion, the natural arches of arches, and the epic bends of canyonlands, they feel less like geology and more like portals to another world. The geography is almost cinematic in its drama. Snowy mountains in the north, vast pine forests, deep canyons, and silent, open desert. But Utah isn't made only of stone and wind. It's made of stories. Stories of the indigenous peoples who first called this land home, like the Navajo and the Ute. Stories of Mormon settlers who crossed the plains in search of religious freedom. Stories of miners, hunters, and dreamers who came chasing gold and ended up finding something else. And through these stories, galloping as fast as sunset shadows, live the wild mustangs. Horses descended from Spanish colonial times, still roaming open valleys and hidden plateaus across this extraordinary state. They are a symbol of endurance, strength, and a kind of freedom that barely exists anywhere else on Earth. Get ready to step into the heart of the wild, where nature rules, where history still breathes, and where mustangs still run free. Wild mustangs in 21st century Utah. Even today, you can still see wild horses cutting across the landscape, manes in the wind, eyes alert. In Utah, this is real. Mustangs, direct descendants of horses brought by Spanish explorers more than 4 centuries ago, have become a living symbol of untamed freedom in the American West. Mustangs, direct descendants of horses brought by Spanish explorers more than 4 centuries ago, have become a living symbol of untamed freedom in the American West. After escaping colonial ranches, they adapted to dry climates, harsh terrain, and endless open plains. Natural selection shaped them into something remarkable, resilient, tough, and fiercely aware. Today, Utah contains several herd management areas, protected zones where mustangs live free, monitored from a distance by the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM. One of the most famous is the Cedar Mountain Herd Management Area, where you can spot mustangs in many colors: chestnut, black, gray, even palomino, moving in bands led by a dominant stallion. They travel quietly, with sharp instincts, always alert to predators or human presence. The strength in their bodies, the elegance of their movement, and the way they protect one another. It's a natural spectacle that grips anyone who watches. But life hasn't been easy for mustangs. For decades, they were hunted, captured, and even killed, often under the claim that they competed for grazing land meant for cattle. Conflicts over water, grass, and territory with large ranching interests caused mustang numbers to drop across many regions of the West. It wasn't until 1971, with the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act, that mustangs gained meaningful legal protection. And even today, the debates continue. How many mustangs can Utah's land truly support? How do we protect them without harming the ecosystem? How do we balance freedom and management? Still, watching a band of mustangs gallop at sunset, kicking up a golden dust cloud under an orange sky, is witnessing something rare. The survival of freedom in its purest form. They're not just horses. They are living monuments to the past. They are Utah's untamed soul. Quick question, where are you watching from? Drop your name and your city or country in the comments. I'd love to see how far this journey reaches. If this world speaks to you, stay with us, because there's much more to discover in wild Utah. Utah's national parks, Arches, Zion, and Bryce Canyon. Utah holds some of the most surreal landscapes on the planet. Across these time-carved terrains, 3 national parks stand out like natural monuments: Arches, Zion, and Bryce Canyon. Each reveals a different side of Utah's wild spirit, like separate chapters of the same geological epic. In Arches National Park, the spectacle begins with wind and time. There are over 2,000 natural stone arches shaped across millions of years. The most iconic, delicate arch stands alone like a doorway to another dimension. Around it, towers, spires, and red rock formations create a landscape that feels pulled from a Martian dream. Visiting Arches is like walking through stone gateways that lead not to another place, but to another time, where the earth still speaks to the wind and silence has shape. Zion National Park feels like a natural cathedral. Scarlet sandstone walls rising like towering sanctuaries carved by time. Every stone, every shadow, every curve of the canyon seems to hide an ancient secret, whispered by wind and by the endless flow of the Virgin River below. Zion is a land of extreme contrasts, deep canyons that look like cracks in the earth's heart, Cliffside trails like Angel's Landing, where every step tests your courage and every view feels like a spiritual reward. And yet, hidden oases appear between the rocks, small pockets of green and life where deer and birds share the cool shade and water. Walking through the Narrows with your feet in the river between sheer canyon walls feels like stepping into a primal world. Zion isn't just a park, it's an experience that reaches the traveler's core, a reminder that even in modern chaos, there are places where nature still rules, teaches, and lifts the soul. And then comes the unreal beauty of Bryce Canyon. Despite its name, it's not a traditional canyon, but a vast natural amphitheater filled with hoodoos, stone spires, pinnacles, and towers. At sunrise, they glow in orange, pink, and gold. Watching the light touch those sculptures feels almost sacred. Visiting Bryce is like watching the world wake up, an amphitheater of stone and light, where every carved tower seems to hold time's secret.
Each park has its own voice, its own color, its own rhythm, and together they form a visual symphony that turns Utah into a true geological sanctuary. Here, nature doesn't just exist, it expresses itself with power, art, and awe.
Utah feels like it was shaped by an imaginative sculptor, someone who wanted to gather nature's extremes into one place. Its geography is pure contrast. Deserts burning under the sun, mountains crowned with lasting snow, and lakes that shine like mirrors beneath endless sky. It all coexists in wild harmony, like the earth decided to reinvent itself here. In the south, red deserts dominate the horizon, silent ages where time feels paused. In Moab, for example, rock formations resemble the ruins of a lost civilization. Towers, natural bridges, sandstone walls glowing at sunset. The heat can be relentless, but the wind moving through the rocks carries the memory of centuries. A land of silence, beauty, and resilience. And in the north, everything changes. The Wasatch Range appears, along with the remote Uinta Mountains, covered in pines and firs with snow-topped peaks. In winter, they become playgrounds for skiing and snowboarding. In summer, they reveal hidden trails, crystal waterfalls, and alpine refuges.
Utah's mountains don't just feel grand, they inspire reverence. Natural temples where cold cleans the air and silence feels sacred. And between deserts and peaks, Utah hides a liquid secret, its lakes and rivers. The most famous is the Great Salt Lake, the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere. Dense, salty water, almost stripped of visible life, like a sea from another planet. Its shores mirror the sky so perfectly that at sunset, the line between earth and clouds disappears. Then there's Lake Powell, a man-made lake formed by damming the Colorado River. With its winding arms through Red Rock canyons, it's one of the most photogenic places in the state. And Bear Lake on the Idaho border, often called the Caribbean of the Rockies, with turquoise water that looks painted. Rivers like the Green and the Colorado complete this geographic mosaic, carving canyons, feeding forests, sustaining wildlife, and tracing the constant cycle of erosion and renewal.
Utah is not a land of repetitive views. It's a place of visual and emotional surprises, where every bend in the road reveals a new world. Its shapes, colors, and textures shift with the light, the seasons, and the winds. Utah feels like walking behind the scenes of creation, where nature is still at work.
Utah's historic and cultural cities. Utah is often remembered for monumental deserts and rugged landscapes, but its cities tell another powerful story. Places where culture, spirituality, and human resilience have left deep marks on the land. In every street, plaza, and mural, you can feel the memory of those who faced hardship and chose to plant roots in the heart of the American West. Salt Lake City, Utah's capital and largest city, is also its spiritual symbol. Founded in 1847 by Mormon pioneers fleeing religious persecution, the city was built from faith. The Salt Lake Temple, with its striking neo-Gothic architecture, remains the heart of that heritage. But the city also vibrates with modern life, contemporary art museums, concert halls, science centers, and a culinary scene that keeps evolving, blending tradition and innovation in a surprising harmony. Farther south, Moab captivates with simplicity and adventure. Surrounded by red rock, this small town is the gateway to arches and canyonlands. And beyond tourism, Moab keeps Old West traditions alive, with artisanal shops, rustic cafes, and local events that reflect a community proud of its story. Provo, home to universities and a strong culture of learning, mixes youth, energy, and spirituality. Ogden, once a railroad town, still carries the echoes of cowboys and steam trains through its streets. And St. George, near the Arizona border, is known for warm weather, pioneer-influenced architecture, and a vibrant local arts scene. Each city feels like an island of humanity inside vast wilderness, revealing a side of Utah that's not only rock and wild horses, but also faith, art, music, education, and living memory. Utah wildlife. Beyond the mustangs. The mustangs may be Utah's untamed stars, but they're not the only life thriving here.
Utah holds surprisingly rich wildlife adapted to extremes, from scorching deserts to alpine forests. In mountain regions, you might spot moose moving through pines or mule deer grazing at dawn. Black bears, usually elusive, live in remote areas, while cougars move like shadows, unseen yet present, like living legends. And above, the show continues. Bald eagles, symbol of the United States, glide over rivers with razor-sharp focus. Hawks, owls, and vultures complete the aerial ballet, turning Utah into a paradise for birdwatchers. In the desert, small reptiles and coyotes rule, cleverly adapted to scarcity. And in clear rivers, otters and beavers live on, eternal architects of the natural world. This diversity survives through a fragile balance, depending on habitat protection and respect for migration routes. Here, wildlife beats quietly, wild, free, and majestic, reminding us that above all, this land belongs to nature.
Located in the southwestern United States, Utah is a landlocked state. It borders Nevada to the west, Colorado to the east, Arizona to the south, and Idaho and Wyoming to the north. Its position places it at the heart of the American West, and it's part of the famous Four Corners region, where 4 states meet at a single point. With a population of about 3.4 million people, Utah's capital and largest city is Salt Lake City. The state covers around 220,000 square kilometers, offering striking ecosystem diversity from arid deserts to snowy mountain ranges. Utah's economy is strong, driven by technology, tourism, mining, and energy. Its name comes from the indigenous word Ute, often translated as people of the mountains. And truly, Utah is a land where mountains tell stories. Utah proves wild freedom still exists, if you know where to look. Now tell me, if you could visit just one place here, Arches, Zion, Bryce, or the Mustang Ranges, where would you go first?